So let us begin talking about how web works. So we'll talk about two things first, the internet and the web. And it's crucial that you understand the difference between the two. So what is internet? Internet is a global network of computers that is connected through various technologies, including cables and wireless connections. On the other hand, World Wide Web is a way of accessing information over the medium of internet. And this particularly involves the usage of browsers to view web pages that are linked to others using something called as hyperlinks. All right. Now, internet or the working of web involves something called as a client. Now here you can see this is the computer, which is a client, and then you have the concept of a server. So web typically operates on the client server model. Okay. Now client over here, like I said, is a web browser like Chrome, Firefox, Safari that you normally use to access different websites. Now this client will send the request to the server. Okay. So there is something called a server, like I said. Okay. So it will send the request and it will also receive the response. Now server is a computer designed to process the request that is being sent by the client, and server also delivers the data back based on the request over the internet or the network. Okay. So this is how web typically works, a simple working wherein you have client which will request something to the server and server will get back with the response. Now, when you want to visit a website, what you typically do is you type in the URL. Okay. Now, there are different URLs like www.google.com, instagram.com, facebook.com. You'll have URL for different websites, and URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Okay. So you'll type this in the browser, and this URL is a specific type of URI. Okay, it identifies the website or the resource that you want to access over the internet. Okay, so what happens is when you type in the domain name to find this particular resource, your browser will translate this particular domain name, which is human friendly, into a IP address. Okay, so everything on the internet is identified with the help of IP addresses. But IP addresses are not human friendly, right? You cannot remember an IP address. And that is why this concept of domain names that exist. Okay. So what happens is domain name is translated to the IP address. Okay. An IP address is mapped to a domain name. This is what you can think of as to how things work behind the scenes. Okay. And this process of translating to the IP address and IP address back to domain name is known as domain name system. Okay. You can think of this like a phone book of internet. Okay. Where you have a domain name that is being mapped to the IP address. Now, let me give you an example for this. So what I would do is I would switch over to my browser, and over here, I'm just going to look up for a website. So the website name is What's My DNS. Okay. Now, this is a tool that helps you look for the DNS, which means you can look up for the IPs. Now, let me type in www.google.com. The moment I type in this, you will see all the IPs essentially over here. Okay. And these IPs are from various locations. Okay. So if I copy any of these and if I paste it here in the browser, you'll see I'm taken to this particular URL. Okay. So what happens is you type in the address. Here you type in the address, which is essentially the IP of the server in the hindsight. Okay. And whenever you are typing in the address, the request goes to that particular server, and then you are given access or you are shown this particular web page. Now, normally we don't type in IPs because IPs or remembering IPs, it's not a human friendly practice, right? Imagine like you remembering all the numbers of different websites, right? So that is not human friendly, and that is why this domain names exist. All right. So I hope this makes sense as to why this concept exists. So it is really important that you understand that in the hindsight, behind the scenes, it all works with IP addresses. And IP addresses, you must be aware, it is used to identify a resource on the network, right? And internet is nothing but a network, right? So that is how things work. What happens is you make a request from, like you said, www.domainname.com. Okay, you have a corresponding IP address, and then you hit that particular server, and then you get a server response, which is nothing but the web page, which is coded in HTML. And your browser is designed to display HTML content to you all, along with CSS, JavaScript, and all. So it displays the web page, and you see the web page, and then you interact with the web page. All right. So this is how things work. Also, this entire thing follows a protocol. So if you see over here on these dot, if you click, you can see this connection is secure. Okay, and if you click over here further, and if you see the entire address, you'll see HTTPS. So this is the protocol, https://www.google.com. So this is a protocol that governs this entire communication between web browser, which is nothing but the client, and the server. Okay, so this is the protocol, and protocol means a set of rules that are laid out for this communication to happen. All right, so this is how the entire web works, and I hope you have a fair understanding of how things work in the hindsight.